So the yacht was created in Second Life, and it was created um, using their primitive 3D modeling tools, which amounted to these primitive shapes here. So in Second Life, you have virtual land. So my virtual land here, depending upon the size of your land, determines how many primitive shapes you can have on your land total. So with this island here, I can have 5,000 primitive shapes. So this yacht here, unfurnished, it's about 1,500 primitive shapes. That house, including the garage, three-car garage, is about 1,000 primitive shapes. This car here is 97 primitive shapes. That car, so this car is about 100 primitive shapes. Anyway, so total primitive shapes I can have on here is 5,000. That's including all for landscaping, houses, whatever you can put on here. So the least number of prims that you use, obviously the more things that you can put on your land. So I want to reduce the prim count on the yacht so that'll leave prims to fill in more detail on my island here. So you can see this explains why you see so many different lines, because I had to do it one primitive shape at a time. So this primitive shape here, well, that's a section. So in Second Life, you can have up to 147 prims connected within a 60-meter distance. Is the most that you can have. So you can see the different sections that I created. That's the bow. That's the door. Okay, so that is, what is that? That's 29 shapes. Did pretty good there. That's 99. So you can see if I can reduce the prim count here, this is 1,500, and then I'll show you the level of detail that I was able to get within Second Life just using that, just using those primitive shapes. In Second Life, there's scripting that you put into everything. So like that control panel there controls the lighting, the blinds, the alarm system. It controls radio, and you can install those panels throughout the yacht. You can isolate, control just one room, or a master control that can control everything. But here's a primitive shape here. So that column, see, that's one primitive shape. This is another primitive shape. So you can see if I could turn this section into mesh. So this particular section is 187 prims. So if I can connect those all together, then it would greatly reduce my prim count. What it also allows you to do in mesh, and to do it in a 3D modeler before you import it, is for you to be able to apply your textures. So in world, if I want to change the texture of that wall, let's say I'll use this carpet texture here. So I'll sample that. And see, that's how you add texture to the surfaces. But if I texturize it outside of Second Life in 3D Max or Maya or Blender, then I can have a really high level of detail. right now the level of detail that I'm getting um, is based upon, like, this here. This was created in Photoshop to give the illusion that you had a baseboard. The door there to give illusion that you had a steel piece, metal piece. Door went the wrong way. Had to be done in Photoshop. See, that's the way it's done it. So if I do it outside of Second Life and 3D modeling, then I can have the doors. I can have the metal. This is what. So this is a mesh that was created outside of Second Life, and so you can see what I'm talking about, the level of detail that you can get. So there's the lights. There's the door handles. So I could really create. So these two together are 11,000 prims. This house and the 3-car garage with the second story it's 1,100 prims. But look at the level of detail that you get out of it. All my detail had to be done with Photoshop. Okay. All right, back to the front. If you walk inside, hey, you can see the difference in the level of detail for the steps. On the yacht, all my steps were actually individual prims, and so if I wanted this step, each one of those steps, and have a separate texture, this here would take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So each one of the runners there would have to be a separate prim, and then each block, each step itself would have to be a prim. So you can see, to get this level of detail, how many prims it would take. Same for the railing. If you texture it outside of Second Life, you can always change the coloring. So let's say I want to change this coloring. I'm going to turn it back to the original. So we're going to make this white. So now that's the original coloring. If I wanted to change that here, I can, let's select yellow. So now it's green. Same for the flooring. If I wanted to turn the living room, formal living room, change the texture. These are all the textures I can apply. So I can easily change all the textures here in Second Life. I think what happened, so with the mesh, I'm not sure if the floors were done and imported or if they were added later, because you can see the floors are individual prims. See, there's nothing below it. But I can't select an individual wall. I can only select a section of wall. So that tells me the flooring was added after you added it in, and that allows you to texturize each individual floor. So you can see all the different textures I have throughout the house. Different color for the formal dining room and the living and in the kitchen. So, so I would like to convert my yacht into mesh, and I don't know if it's easier to just recreate what I have, or or to go and I just don't know how you collect how the process works to convert it to mesh. But you can see I need to have the capability of really being able to customize um, the interaction or the experience. But you can see the level of detail that you can go into for each of the individual rooms. Second Life is pretty amazing because be able to navigate and interact in a desktop application that anybody can download. Um, that's pretty. It's pretty amazing. So I'm looking at all the new metaverses that are coming out, and everyone's building using Legos, and most people aren't aware of Second Life, and it's not on the blockchain. I understand that, but I think we're getting way too far ahead of ourselves with the metaverses on the blockchain because you can't really build and create a high fidelity experience. So I sell my yachts here in Second Life, and what I would do is I would sell them a furnished or unfurnished yacht, and the unfurnished yachts like this so when you build in Second Life here and you link all the prims together, then you put this script inside the base root link, and you record their position of everything. And then once it's recorded, you then go and you take this into your inventory. Close this out. All right, so if I take this, if I take a copy of this, take a copy, you can see now that this section here is now in here, and then you take that and you create a res box, which it can be any shape you want. And then what I do from there is I would then put this section into that box. And then once you have all the items in the box, you now have the ability to re-res anytime you want. So let me clean this. So if you open this up, there are all the sections that you then can re-res at any time. There, so let me clean this. Now another way to do it is you can import a 3D, oops, kind of fell off the dock there. Another way you can do it is how this one was done. So someone else created this one, and obviously it was designed outside of Second Life and 3D modeling. very well done. You can see the level of detail that you can get into with this. And this one here, you can actually, it's drivable. So if you're on the open seas or waterway, you can actually take this out, which is cool. Now mine is a liveaboard. It's too big, and the solution that he used for this is everything is one big mesh object. Everything is one big mesh object. So that allows you to then navigate because everything is one big block. And that's 455 prims is the total here. And then in order to interact, you then have to sit on the yacht, and then you have all these different selections. So if I wanted to go to the living, so this is how you interact. You have to use the HUD. Okay. The difference between his yacht and my yachts, I wonder if you can change the texture. So with his, you are able to change the texture, the colors of the texture. So you do have that ability to do that. So if I change this to this here, yeah, so that's good. But the problem is you're then stuck with this furnishing, and everybody else has the same furnishing, versus the other way. If you have an unfurnished yacht that's separate from the individual pieces, then you can do like I've done here, and you can select all your own personalized pieces and be able to interact directly with every item. I mean, you can make adjustments to change all the positioning. So you have complete freedom. So anyway, I don't know how to convert my yacht to mesh, and whether it's not, if it's easier to just start from scratch and duplicate what I have there, or do you have to line up all the vector points and then take out lines, and so it starts making it one big piece? I don't know. So that's what I'm looking for. I hope that should give you pretty good clarity of what it is I'm looking for. Okay, thanks.